Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this really important intern roundtable. I would like everybody to introduce themselves just really quick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Amelia Johnston. I am currently 21 years old. Um, I am in San Antonio, Texas this summer as a project engineer intern.
Hello, everyone. My name is George Ojo. I'm 23 years old. I'm coming out of the Skanska, Atlanta office. I currently attend Kennesaw State University, and I am a project engineer intern, and I was just offered assistant project engineer, and I did accept.
I'm Nadi Medijiklian. I'm from the Boston area, and I just graduated from UMass Amherst. I went from an intern for a month to a project engineer, which I am currently a project engineer here in Boston.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Talavera. I'm at Cal Poly Pomona. I'm studying construction engineering, so I'm a civil engineer intern in Los Angeles for Skanska Civil West. And I'm working on the 5760 interchange project.
Can you get a little bit in depth what your relationship with the internship program is and talk a little bit more about what you're working on?
So right now I'm working under Kim Ward, which is our project manager, and she kind of has me, going around with a lot of different people. I'm working with a lot of different engineers. I'll go and shadow some superintendents, but overall we're just going through the motions of the project. This project is, I think, about 2 years in, so it's a little bit more than what was being done in the first year, but other than that, I'm attending a lot of meetings. I'm learning a lot about the field in general, and anything that they're willing to show me, I'm willing to go out and do. So yeah.
I sit through meetings and I do submittals, RFIs. As Sarah said, whatever they put me on, I try to go and learn as much as I can. I did that during my internship too, so it was a good way to go into a full-time position because I had already learned most of it in my internship. So it was a great way to go from one position to another.
So I'm currently on a multi-global production company's project here in Atlanta. Here I've been working with under Rashad Thomas. He's been tasking me with closeout since it's a big project with a lot of smaller projects within it. So I've been tasked with closeout. I've been working with RFI submittals, assisting the other APMs and PMs, and some project engineers whenever they needed assistance, as well as facilitating conversations with the owner and managing relationships with subcontractors, and as well as the other set, just whatever they let me get my hands on, really.
So I am currently on a hospital project in San Antonio called Christus Westover Hills Expansion Tower, Patient Tower. We also are doing some renovations within the existing hospital. I do very similar to what everybody else has said, submittals, RFIs, different document control items. We do EHS orientations that is presented by myself and the other intern Monday through Wednesday mornings. And I do mostly project engineer tasks, so more in the office, but I have been able to do some different quality control, quality assurance inspections, and different aspects of the hospital.
What was one or two things that drove you to a career in construction? I've been finding, particularly with people of a certain age coming out of college, there's typically one or two answers. They've always known they wanted to do it, or there was some kind of discovery recent in their life that made them go, aha, this is what I want to do. So I'm curious, what drove you? Was it something you were always interested, or something that came on later in your schooling?
So when I was growing up, my dad was always doing little side tasks around the house, from building a table. We insulated my barn together. He would saw logs. And so there was always some kind of little bit of construction going on in my house. And I didn't really realize it until I got to college that I really do have a passion for that. And I found construction management at Purdue. and fell in love with it. I love analyzing situations and understanding the background and the why of decisions and systems. So, construction management is exactly where I want to be.
And George, I will float that same question to you. Was this kind of a lifelong pursuit or something that you found later that you thought, yeah, that is for me?
Yeah, so growing up, my uncle was actually a developer here in the Atlanta area. So my dad used to bring me to some of his construction projects at the time, just to have me running around so he could talk to my uncle, and I would just run around like looking at certain things, like, wow, this great how this portion right here connects to this, and how and all at the end of the project it all makes sense. So I decided I was that's when I decided I was like, yeah, I definitely do want to pursue a career in construction.
Growing up, I was so fascinated when I would see buildings go up and see people building them, and I definitely knew I wanted to be a part of it in some way. I didn't know that it would be construction management that fell into that, but my brother-in-law is actually a senior PM. So when I was younger, he explained to me what it was, and I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. So that was just the name to it, project management.
My dad was in construction, but what I think really shifted my perspective on it was when we would travel a lot. We would travel, and having that relationship with him explaining to me his job and stuff like that, I didn't really understand it until we would go and see these bridges and these buildings and things like that, and we'd sit there and Google the facts about them, how they were built, and he would explain things here and there for me. But it wasn't really until I got older and I was in high school that I started to pursue more of an interest in engineering, and taking engineering courses as my electives and things like that. But I would say that it did start at a very young age, yes.
Was that one of the big drivers for you? And is that one of the big motivators today, I should probably ask, is how important and relevant construction engineering and the built environment is? Does it feel like you're part of something much larger?
Definitely. Exactly what you're saying is why I really wanted to pursue it. I think everybody wants to feel like they're part of something and they contribute to their community in whatever way that is. But seeing, even the project I'm on right now, seeing it be built and seeing people go on the freeway and how they're struggling with what is the issue, in terms of our project personally. But yeah, it is a big factor. I want to be part of my community and do, good things for them, and, help improve the roadways and bridges and stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely, as Sarah said, building something for community is really important. And the project I'm on right now, the hockey rink, is the town next to me. So being a part of something that's going to be able to provide kids to go and play hockey and just have a good time with their friends and grow up, and being a part of something that I can build it and then 20 years down the line come and see it and say I was part of this and I helped this community build it. I think that's really important.
Sarah and Irene said it is really just being a part of the community, being a part of something bigger than me. I want to be able to, once I've I'm long and gone, be able to still have an impact on certain buildings and structures here in my own city. The project I'm currently on is really like a big one to me because growing up, I used to drive past it every day. I just wondered what it was, and now being a part of it means a lot.
I'll echo what everybody else said as well. Um, I have a concentration in healthcare construction, and I chose that because I've always loved the medical field, and I originally thought that's what I wanted to go into. But I feel like I can still have an impact in the medical field by building hospitals and building other medical structures.
Amelia, why do younger people tend to have a negative opinion of the construction industry?
Um, I'm not exactly sure why they would have a negative opinion, but I think one way to make it a positive opinion would be to expose like high schoolers or even middle schoolers to the construction industry earlier and expose them to the variety of different jobs that there are, that there's scheduling, that there's estimating, there's project management, there's superintendents. There's so many different variety of um, opportunities within the construction industry. And sometimes at that age, you're just shown that you go and put boards together and you're just building things, but there's so many other things in the background that should be shown. Yes, so we had two different programs related to construction. So we had one that they would go out and build houses for half the morning. And then we had another CAD program. But as I said previously, I was thinking more of the medical field, so I unfortunately didn't take either of those. But I really wish that I would have at this point in my life.
As you said, it's numerous of reasons. There's not just one right answer, but there's also, I feel like, the exposure, as we all mentioned, we seen something growing up that made us say that we wanted to be a part of the construction industry, and some people just don't have that exposure to be able to see that. And then also touch back to what you said, the magnitude and how big the project is. Uh, some look at it as it's just hard labor, hammer and nail every day, sweeping, stuff like that. But like Sarah mentioned, I believe it's a lot more. It's estimating, it's project management. It's some people do decide that they want to be a part of the field. There's even now they're developing BIM departments. It's a lot more, and I just think it needs more exposure. That's all. I don't think it's any age on exposure. You know, you can start it even younger, you can start it even older. It just depends on what you're providing. My high school, I was lucky enough to have an engineering course. I felt like that was a very instrumental course for me because a lot of the students that weren't in those classes with me did go pursue construction management, civil, mechanical, which is all majors that are used in construction now today.
As George and Amelia said, I believe that a certain image is put into our head when we're younger about construction as if it's only hard labor. But if people became more aware of how many opportunities there were in construction and in what you like, such as if you like the tech part, you could go into CAD, or if you like the project management part, you can be a manager, or if you like being on site, but you don't like to, do hard labor, you can be a superintendent. I feel like there's a big variety on things you can choose from, and we're not taught that at a young age. So our view on construction is just you're out all day in the warmth doing, or in the super cold doing work and hammering, as George said.
Is there also not enough education or enough communication about how much more comfortable, how much more safe that environment has become over the years too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of things in place on the construction site to make it safe, such as PPE gear. Every time you're out, you have to have gloves, glasses, your vest, boots. You have to be in PPE gear. And then we also have OSHA. And before any subcontractor gets on site, they have to have an orientation, which is about an hour, saying about safety with our safety manager. We have safety people come on site. So yeah, there's a lot of exposure that I didn't even know that construction did all those things until I started my internship. So if we could incorporate that in curriculum at a young age, I definitely think more people would be interested in joining the construction world because you really never know until you're here.
Jumping off of what everyone said, I mean, there is that misconception that construction is just the labor aspect of it. And, that is a route, and some people do want to go down it, but there is so much more to being an engineer. And, you do a lot of work in the office, which I don't think a lot of people know. But for me personally, being a woman in STEM, that is a huge struggle when it comes to exposure. Not a lot of women know that this is a field that they can come into. And speaking for my project personally, I think we have one of the our project has one of the most women in, the Skanska Civil. So coming into it, that was really cool to see all of these women work together, especially, not only the women, but work with the men as well. And getting to see them have their own place in the field allowed me to understand that it is something that we can pursue. But, people at a young age, they don't see that. There is still that misconception that it's predominantly for men. So I can see how they steer away from it, especially, young women and young men who feel that way.
What's a good constructive criticism that you could offer for the construction industry on how to improve young people's opinion?
Of course, just like everyone else said, exposure, but having people like, for my project manager, Kim, she has really showed me what it's like to be in the field and what it takes to be in the field. And I think just having higher, people who are higher expose their knowledge and their experience with younger people, that can definitely make a difference. Going to schools and speaking about it, or even internships. I mean, from my experience, this internship has exposed me to a lot, and previous internships have allowed me to decide, okay, I don't really want to go down that route. Where am I going to go? So getting people to understand that that's an opportunity for them, that's a big aspect as well that can be good for them.
For the project I'm on now, I know we had a big set of drawings that we were going to throw away, and I had suggested, why don't we donate this to a high school or a middle school or a trade school so people can be exposed to the construction industry, even if it's just on a desk in the classrooms. Someone can flip through it and admire it and want to go into the field. So I think it's not exposed enough for the younger people in our generation, and I think that's my biggest criticism. So just little acts of donating construction booklets or drawings that we're not using anymore to the younger people in schools, and maybe just keeping it in a library. But if someone picks that up, they can find their passion that they never knew they had.
Making that early investment into them. If that's coming to the schools and talking to the students, giving them, showing them pictures of what's currently going on, what projects they have working on, where they have to come, or if that's just simply inviting them out to any of those projects and having them walk around the site, get that exposure, get their eyes on it, and say, wow, so there's more that I can do other than some of these other industries that's out here.
I would say for the construction industry as a whole, just really keeping up on safety standards. I think Skanska does an amazing job at it, but in my previous experiences, safety has been very low and not taken seriously. So I think for the industry as a whole, taking safety more seriously and making sure that everybody makes it home to their family.
Is technology a driving force for you? Do you find that construction is really going all in and adapting this after being behind for a little bit? Do you find that that's going well in your certain circumstances? Is there more technology that needs to be used, or basically kind of an open-ended question on what do you think's next and what should be next for technology in construction?
For technology in construction, I think there's always room for improvement. We've been implementing quite a few systems on our job site, and there's always issues, but they're also very new versions, and we're all trying to get used to them. I also think since there are a lot of younger generations coming into the construction industry, that an increase in technology would be very positive, but I also feel like there are many older individuals in the industry that have a difficult time with technology, and they're set in their ways, and they don't want to change. So I think in years to come, there will be a major increase in technology, and it'll be very positive.
Construction, I mean, technology and construction is every day they're coming up with new methods for us to make our job easier, which is understandable. It's going in the right direction as of right now. There hasn't been any there's always positives and negatives to everything. It just depends on who's using it, who's the user, and who's the end user. I don't think it's going to be instrumental or detrimental to construction if there's more technology, or if that's going to be persuading of bringing more people into the industry. Just off the simple fact, I don't think construction isn't a technology industry, so I don't think that's really going to bring more people. But you can always try.
I think for most of us, we use Procore, and that's a big technology that we use in construction that's growing every day. We learn it in college and then we bring it here. I think that's a great way, and I also think Procore is very user-friendly for our subs because most of the time you see that we're very high tech, as Skanska does a great job teaching us how to learn the technology. But a lot of subcontractors, especially small ones, they don't have the the ability to learn. So I think by using technology such as Procore, um, we are able to connect everyone. And I think that as time goes on, technology is just going to get better and better, and we're all going to adapt to it. Um, I do think that it's a great thing to have because everything is recorded rather than having a stack of papers. You could just go back and look at Procore, what happened 2 weeks ago on this day, and you can see it, and your subcontractor can see it, and the engineers can see it. So I do think that technology is just going to grow and become better and help us ultimately in the construction field.
Jumping off the Procore and all of that, besides CAD and stuff like that, I think that's the most technology that I've been exposed to personally. As for, it bringing more people in, I think the only reason why I would see that happening is, younger generations tend to have more innovative ideas when it comes to technology because, older generations don't really they don't know how to use certain things and things like that. So I guess that there will probably be a lot more to come, and they will be the younger people will be the ones to develop it and figure out how we can implement technology more into construction.
What am I missing? What do we need to broadcast to the general population about what it is you're doing and the future of construction?
We've been talking a lot about how to get more people into construction. And I think one of the biggest things that I've realized with Skanska is that it is a huge community. Being in an internship, I've noticed people who have worked here for 20 years. I'll get emails saying that somebody's retired with like a 30-year duration of working here. And that to me is very something that I look for personally when it comes to graduating and where I want to pursue my career at. So I guess, just taking that and relating it back to how do we get more people into the field, exposing them to that and the culture that we create as a construction company. It's not only the labor, it's, the laborers working with our supers, our foremen, our engineers, and our PMs, and how they all come together and create this community.
We have so many programs implemented. We have Women in Construction in Skanska where you can get together as women and just talk about the field. And we also have Young People in Construction where everyone in your region that's young, you guys can get together, and they do Zooms. They really include everyone, and I think Skanska does a great job at that, at exposing us to things young and wanting us to stay at the company because they're so great.
Just a sense of community and how they also embrace their community. Skanska goes above and beyond. They've invested into my organization, National Society of Black Engineers, and come out and taking initiatives to try to bring those students in and also provide those students with opportunities that they need as well.
So I'm in the Skanska San Antonio office, and I'm originally from Indiana, which makes it a huge jump. I'm away from all my family and friends. but I have had amazing coworkers. We went on weekend trips together. This last weekend, we went to Big Bend National Park, and I just had a great time building relationships with everybody. Everybody's also so willing to answer any kind of questions. We have different like organizations kind of within, and I'm guessing this is the same at other offices as well, but we have a safety leadership team and a quality control council, and they meet once every month, and we go to a different job site. And if it's the safety leadership one, we'll walk the site, point out any safety things that we see that are good or bad. Um, and same thing with the quality control council. And I feel like being able to be an intern and be involved with so much in the company has really pushed me to grow over the summer. I've learned so much and been able to absorb from the people that have been in the industry for 30 years and the people that have been in for one.
This, internship program allowing you to grow, one of the biggest things that I've noticed and that I appreciate a lot is that you kind of come into this they do not expect you to know anything at all. And I think that is one of the biggest fears for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of younger people have as well when they come into the field, is that there's so much to learn, and you're in school, you think that you're learning what you're going to be doing on field, but once you're out on the field, that's when you actually really start the learning, and having these engineers and project managers talk to you about what's going on and teaching you things, and just being able to consume and absorb all of their information that they're giving you it's a good opportunity. And yeah, I know that Skanska really takes pride in that, and I definitely notice that that's exactly what the environment that they've created for me here.
Yeah, Skanska with my internship program has been a great learning experience. They want you to actually learn a lot. They put you in a lot of positions that forces you to learn a lot, and I greatly appreciate that. They even expose you to certain things that I know some other companies don't want to, just to stay on the safe side and not, jeopardize anything. But Skanska does throw you in there, lets you get your feet wet and fill it out to see if it's something for you or if it's not for you. So I definitely say with Skanska's internship program, they go above and beyond and making sure that you're prepared and ready for the job once you graduate.